In our news bulletin for this evening, civil aviation airport drill was conducted to test the emergency response services. Niue is set to receive more solar power energy equipment from Japan as the island works its way towards achieving the energy roadmap projections. Niue High School are thankful for donation of televisions from the Niue Philatelic. An emergency drill exercise was held at the airport yesterday to test the emergency response of civil aviation. Staff from Niue Police, the Health Department, Police Travel and Niue Crash Fire were on hand to respond to a scenario that an aircraft had crashed, and students from Niue High School and volunteers acted as the passengers. It was important to review the emergency plan as a precaution to see whether those working at the airport are ready to respond if anything happens to the planes that travel between Niue and New Zealand. We spoke with the Chief of Police to see whether the exercise was a success and what the objectives were since the last time this exercise was held in 2013.
Three objectives that we focused at. One was that it was a hypothetical exercise. It was to assume that what's ahead of us. The second thing was to test our response plans, just making sure that we have a plan in place, and then that's the plan that we should follow. And the third one is to review our plans within our agencies. So those agencies who are involved in this type of exercise need to ensure that their response plans are reviewed.
Normally these emergency drills are held every 2 years as a refresher to test the emergency preparedness and response of civil aviation staff. However, Chief Edwards says there are many reasons why there has been a delay, such as police officers being out of country or busy with the second flight, or the unavailability of departments that were meant to be included in this exercise. Niue High School students were also part of the exercise, but that has some parents concerned about how this would affect their education, taking most of the day away from school. According to the chief, consent was sought, and it's also important for students to be involved in these drills.
There's a lot of importance to this exercise, but I think we just need to agree collectively, because I don't want parents being concerned about, bringing their children out, because that wasn't the purpose of it. If anything happens to an aircraft coming into Niue, that jeopardises everything that happens in Niue. If we don't respond the way that we need to respond, that jeopardises aircrafts coming into this country. So, it's an important operation that needs to be done, and we need to upskill ourselves to maintain that operation.
Chief of Police Edward says that the civil aviation airport emergency exercise that was performed yesterday is to ensure that all departments are ready and prepared if or when a disaster occurs at the airport. Niue is about to receive additional assistance to improve its solar energy sources with support from the Japanese government. The solar energy plant located at Tuila was funded by the Japanese government in 2013 with funds from the Pacific Environment Community Fund. The Japanese-funded solar power plant was opened in 2014 and was expected to replace 360,000 kilowatts of diesel-powered electricity to solar-generated electricity. Mitsubishi Electric was commissioned to supply the solar panels, inverters and building capacity for installation in collaboration with the Niue government. This week, the announcement was made that Niue can expect further developments to its growing renewable energy aspirations that are in line with the energy roadmap objectives.
We have identified 2 new locations. Possibly this will be in the, I would say, northeastern part of the island, whereby the village of Mutulau, as well as we are looking towards Liku, whereby we want to probably install about, with the help of Wayne and Warren, for the 100 kilowatts on each of this village. So in this way, we think that we can contribute further using the funding from Japan, to enhance renewable energy to New Way. Increasing the solar with the energy roadmap of New Way to up to 80%. So we can have 80% of solar and 20% of fuel. So when we talk about 80%, I think I can't tell you the numbers at the moment, but we are looking at quite significant amount of fuel savings and cost towards the usage of fossil fuel on the island. This project here, which is at the New Way Power Station, we expect the fuel saver systems to be out by 2 months' time. Hopefully, if we get that out, we can have the whole lot of 200 kilowatt into the system. So we expect that to complete at least by end of July, or if not by early August. Then we are looking towards getting the additional 200 kilowatt of solar gills up on the island by that time. And we are hoping that the New Way Power Corporation will be installing that in August. And we expect to see that to be commissioned sometime in end October.
There were issues with the inverters in the first system installed at Tuila and its ability to convert the energy to be fed into the electrical grid or network. We asked Mr. Chin what had been done to ensure that the new projects do not face similar challenges.
We have this issue because this funding is typically from Japan. And we have some regulations that we have to follow. So in that way, we are kept by certain regulations. We have to use Japanese product like the Japanese inverter, whereby we use the Sanyo Denki. But when we look at the profile, the energy profile and consumption profile of the New Way island, we have around 1,000 to 1,200 people when we just came aboard to do this project. But right now we are looking at about 1,600, 1,500, 1,600 people. We have installed 100 kilowatts, 2 times 100 kilowatts of inverters made in Japan, and we import them from Japan into New Way. So after we test run this for a couple of months, and we found that this may not be as suitable as we thought initially because of the small amount of consumption as compared to the other nations in the Pacific Islands. I think what we do is for the best of New Way, which Warren and Wayne agree, and as well as the Premier, that we should at least look back into the SMA inverters. SMA is already in, and they are working very well with our own Mitsubishi Electric solar panels. So that's why, as a next step, what we are doing here is we want to contribute further by providing what is actually suitable for New Way. So which is the combination of Mitsubishi Electric panels, solar panels, and SMA solar inverters. We, along with our main contractors, Stella and Shinyo, we also want to move towards that direction to provide SMA inverters for the New Way people. Yeah.
The 2 new sites will complement a number of solar projects already on the ground, and as the projects come online, it is hoped that New Way will achieve 70% consumption to rely on renewable energy sources like solar. New Way High School is moving forward with advancing technology, receiving equipment that will make education a lot easier. The New Way Philatelic and Numismatic Company gifted new cabinets and whiteboards left over from the new primary school project. And in a short ceremony on Monday, one of the company directors, Justin Kampala, presented new television sets to the high school principal, Charles Ioane. Overall, these different resources are estimated to be worth about $7,000. Principal Charles Ioane says that the television sets will be utilized by the intermediate students and design technology students for their presentations. These new state-of-the-art TV screens will allow students and teachers to project their presentations to save time and printing costs. Those are our news stories that we have for you this evening. We do hope that you Have an enjoyable weekend ahead, and you can join us again for our next news bulletin next week. Don't forget to check out the Makefu Show Day this coming Saturday.